Hi everyone, my name is Doug Shook and I am going to be the instructor for this special edition of CSE437. I'm very glad to have you all with me this summer as we work on some open source projects. I just wanted to record a brief video to cover some of the commonly asked questions that I've been getting and give you a brief introduction to what this is all going to look like. So this class is focused around open source projects, and what that means is that we're really looking for projects that serve the public good in some way, and we're gonna make contributions to them. These could be contributions such as, well, we'll probably start small, probably start with some bug fixes and documentation, and then work our way up to some more substantial things, and hopefully be able to implement some features that the community of these projects want. And if everything goes well, hopefully those features will become a permanent part of the project and be used as part of the project going forward. That is the goal of this summer, is to get some features into these open source projects. We have a lot of work that we need to do before we get to that point, though. I think for a lot of you, this is probably going to be your first foray into the world of open source. So we need to lay some of the groundwork first. We need to kind of pay our dues in a sense and work our way up to solving the big important problems that these open source projects face. And so we will spend some time just researching open source projects, learning what it's like to work on an open source project, getting familiar with the kinds of tools and the communities of these open source projects. It's not as simple as just diving right in and starting to write a bunch of code. We need to actually follow the process and go through the steps. And so with all of that being said, the first task, the first assignment for this class is going to be for you to research and find an open source project that you would like to work on. I've posted instructions for this on the Slack channel that you've received an invitation to. So be sure to go to Slack and read the instructions in detail. But at a high level, I want you to find open source projects that meet our criteria, that serve the public good in some way, that look like they have an active community and have people working on them currently. So they're not dead projects, they're not forgotten about projects. We're not trying to raise projects from the dead here. We want to work on something that's actively being used, actively being worked on. We need to find projects that suit our own skill sets, so that use programming languages that I would expect you to be familiar with, right? And libraries that I expect you to be able to use or learn, and aren't going to cost us a bunch of money to have to use, for example. And so these are all kinds of things that I want you to kind of look around and think about over the next few days as you find open source projects, and then ultimately propose one for us to potentially work on. Now, there are about 40 of you signed up for this class, and we're going to be working in small groups of 4. So not every project is going to be selected. We'll probably only need about 10 projects that we'll be working on total. So not everybody's project will be selected, but I think it will be beneficial for us to have a wide range of projects to choose from as we go through this process. And I want you all to be able to see the different types of projects that are available as well. So that's kind of the other point of this exercise, is to get a feel for what kinds of open source projects even exist in the world. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you come up with for that assignment. And like I said, I'm hoping that you'll have that finished by the end of the day on Monday of next week. Just kind of a timeline here, right? If you have the proposals finished by the end of the day on Monday, we can start forming teams starting on Tuesday of next week. And I think that by the end of next week, we should have our teams set, at which point, from that point forward, you will be working in your small teams, and you'll be meeting with me once a week to review your progress and talk about next steps. At that point in time, it becomes a lot more like an independent study project that you're working on with your teammates, with your small group for students. So that's kind of what we'll be spending the rest of our time on this summer. Some other kind of logistics things, some other questions that I've been receiving. One of the more common questions that I've seen is, how do I register for this class? There's actually nothing that you need to register for right now. I know that the email stated that you need to register for 0 credits of 437 over the summer. That was a perhaps confusingly worded way of saying that you do not have to register for anything right now. you are not registering for a course. Instead, how this will work is you will register for this class in the fall, and then you will be assigned a grade based on your work over the summer. So you're really kind of doing the work in advance, and then in the fall, when you register, you don't have to do anything else in the fall except for the little presentation that will take place at the end of class. That'll probably be around the first or second week of the fall semester. But outside of that, you won't need to actually work on this class. You'll already have your work finished on that class. So you will just get a grade based on the work that you perform over the summer. That means you're not paying summer tuition either. This will be part of your fall tuition. So hopefully that's a benefit to you as well. There is no course website. The course website is Slack. So I sent out the Slack invitations earlier today. If you're watching this video, then you likely already accepted the invite because I posted this video on Slack. So keep an eye on Slack. That's going to be our main form of communication. There's no syllabus. There's no website. Like I said, this is kind of more like an independent study project than a traditional course. So a lot of the typical course formalities do not really apply here. We are going to take a lot of this work on a case-by-case basis. The idea is that with me as your mentor, we will adapt your workload and your project as the needs dictate as time goes on. So that it will be, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's let's evaluate the situation and proceed on a case-by-case basis as we need to kind of approach instead. I think that about covers it as far as my introduction, as far as my welcome. I'm very much looking forward to this. This is something that I feel super strongly about, something that I really enjoy. I love working on these kinds of projects. I love the idea of you all working on these kinds of projects in small teams, and me being able to help guide you through that process. It's very exciting to me. This is something that I feel very strongly about, very passionate about these kinds of things. So I'm really looking forward to taking this journey with you, and I hope you all are as excited as I am, because I think we can do some really great things together this summer. So thank you very much for signing up for this class, and I look forward to working with all of you over the next few months.